It is Championship Sunday here in the OHS BBA State Tournament. Alongside Richard Skinner, I'm Jason Griefer. Great to have you here with us for the second straight year. It is Elder and Moeller for the crown. Moeller won last year's tilt 3-1. Elder looking for revenge and looking to cap off one of the greatest seasons in OHS BBA history. The Panthers enter tonight's matchup 27-1 on the year, winners of 26 straight. And to go even further into the numbers, Skinny, Elder has lost a grand total of 10 sets the entire season. And if they close it out, they can stake their claim for this team being one of the best of all time.
Yeah, they've swept their last 8 matches. They've won their last 26 straight sets. The last time they dropped the set was a Sycamore back on May 7th. That's almost unfathomable, especially against the schedule they play.
They beat Centerville in the semifinals earlier today, 3-0 to get to this point. It's been much more of an adventure for the Moeller Crusaders on their side, looking for a second straight state title. The Crusaders 22-6 on the year, but each of their last 3 matches, they've had to go to 5 sets, including the semifinal against Beaver Creek earlier today, in which Moeller staved off a match point for Beaver Creek and came back to win 16-14 in the 5th. So Moeller's had a tougher go of it, Skinny, but yet here they are once again looking for their 10th title.
Yeah, and they're just squirrely enough. I mean, in the last 3 matches, you mentioned went 5 sets, and they went 5 sets in different ways. They kind of piddled around in the regional final, let St. X get back in it. They kind of did the same against Olentangy Liberty, where they got back in it. Then they had to stave off match point there to end up winning 19-17 in the 5th set. And then earlier today, they were down 13-8 in that 5th and decisive set, and somehow came back to win 16-14. I mean, there's something to be said about being gritty and winning that way. It may not be as pretty as the way Elder's winning, and is aesthetically pleasing and full of lots of warts and holes, but here they are again, and it's a team and a program that knows how to win state championships.
And the challenge for the Crusaders will be to try to solve the master on the other side for Elder, Joey Bianco, who for my money right now has been the most outstanding player in this tournament.
Not even close. He's been so good, not only setting, but at the net defensively. He also is very aggressive in attacking himself, where he'll turn and dump or occasionally turn and spike. He has been serving as well. He has been absolutely spectacular. And oh yeah, by the way, they only have the player of the year in the state in Drew Monty.
If we get anything close to what we saw in the Division II state final just earlier this afternoon, we are in for a classic here between these two GCL South rivals. Baden winning the D2 title, beating Carroll in as good of a 4-set match, Skinny, as anyone at this level will ever see.
Yeah, they won the first 2 sets 25-22 and then 21. Then Carroll came back to beat them 25-17, and then the last marathon 4th set, in which Carroll a couple of times had set point. Baden had 3 or 4 different times having match point, and they finally put it away 30-28. So yeah, for a 4-setter, it had all the earmarks of a 5-setter.
Yeah, I was hoping once that match went final that both teams went to these 2 teams in front of us right now and said follow that, because that is a tall task to live up to. But when you put these 2 on the volleyball court, anything can happen. Elder is number 1 in the state, Moeller is number 2 in the state, and of course they meet for the championship. And on the other side of this brief pause, we will have this lineups and the opening serve. Moeller going for its 10th title, Elder looking for crown number 7 on the other side of this pause.
And now let's meet our team. First, the visitors on the scoreboard, the Panthers of Elder High School. Number 1, Drew Mountain. Number 2, St. Louis. Number 3, David Drew. Number 4, Sam Schwally. Number 5, Henry Grant. Number 6, Fred Harvey. Number 7, Rudy Hoffmeyer. Number 8, David Howard. Number 9, Luke Voss. Number 10, Bradley Lanter. Number 11, Joey Bianco. Number 12, Andrew Zimmer. Number 13, Jack Hutzel. Number 15, Will Buskin. Number 18, Luke Williams. Assistant coaches, Ben Luby, Joe Bianco, Matt Barron, Brian Check, and Chad Thornton. And your varsity head coach is Sean Jersey. Scoreboard, the Crusaders of Archbishop Moeller High School. Number 2, Luke Oliver. Number 3, Colin Young. Number 4, Sebastian Ray. Number 5, Bernie Kress. Number 6, Ben Number 16, Will Patterson. Number 17, Ben Haggerty. Number 18, Eric Moeller. Your student coaches, Steve Todd, Eli Ernst, Nathan Baldwin.
Before this championship match begins between Elder and Archbishop Moeller, Richard Skinner has our officiating lineup.
Yep, the main chair, the up referee will be Mary Black. The down referee on the far side will be Richard Peck. The line judge to the near side is Sterling Kaimamoku, and then Jeff Klein is a line judge to the top of your screen to the far side. This is the same crew actually that did the semifinal between Elder and Centerville. Just the two head referees were switched. Richard Peck was the up referee, Mary Black was the down referee.
Moeller will be on the left side of the court in the gold jerseys with white numbers, with the exception of the libero, Brandon Wong, who will be wearing navy. And on the right side of the court throughout this match will be the Elder Panthers wearing purple with white numbers across their jerseys, with the exception of their libero, Fred Harvey, whose colors will be inverted. Elder led by Sean Tierney, the state coach of the year. The Panthers in their 11th championship appearance, looking for title number 7. Conversely, Lee Meyer for Moeller in his second season at the helm, looking for his second title as the Moeller head coach. The Crusaders are in their 16th appearance and have now looking to bring home their 10th state championship.
Elder was a machine in the semifinal win against Centerville, winning 25-5, 25-14, 25-17. They got off to 9-0 leads in each of the first two sets.
And a key thing to keep on for Moeller is Will Patterson has had a bad shoulder throughout today. It was bothering him just a bit yesterday, but it seems to have worsened here today.
He's looking at it right now.
Yeah, he was struggling mightily in the Beaver Creek match. In fact, saw his playing time lessen as the match went along. And so that could be an interesting factor in this one, because Elder does not have anybody on the roster even close to his height. Who does at 6'10"? But if he cannot give it a full go here today, it's going to make the task even tougher for the Moeller Crusaders and put even more pressure on the man to our left about to serve in Brody Threm.
Yeah, Brody Threm would have to step into that role in the front line when his rotation comes, but they need Patterson to come up big, and it's a big ask with the way that shoulder is right now.
Brody Threm with ball in hand, the Division I state championship, and the final match of this 2022 season is underway. Right off the start, Skinny, Joey Bianco with a perfect pass to the player of the year, Drew Mounty.
And I mean, it looked just easy. Nice bump off the serve, off the receive to Bianco for the set, and Mounty for the kill.
Will Buskin will serve for Elder. He had the solo 9-0 serve run to start the second set of the win over Centerville, and now he has an ace. It's 2-0 Elder.
Well, can you imagine the confidence level right now after you won the way you won in the semifinal, and you start like this with a perfect kill off the first service, and now the first service ace?
And oh, by the way, golden white across the way to add to that intensity.
Yeah, good call.
Knowing that a lot of these players on this roster for Elder were here a year ago when they were beaten in the championship by Moeller. Ben Haggerty's first try is long, and it's 3-zip.
Ben Haggerty, he had a really good semifinal. I thought they took him off the back line when it was his time, because he was really struggling yesterday receiving service, and they kind of took that off of his plate, and I thought he had a real good game swinging in the semifinal.
Buskin has been spectacular serving today. Patterson's first touch playable, 50-50, and Bianco will reload with the left. He'll do that. Haggerty's second try, nice cross court for the winner.
Yeah, we'll see if they take that off his plate again, Jason, if they take him off the service receive. I think they will, just because he just seems much freer here in the semifinal and in the swinging here early in this one.
In the semifinal, he was a strictly frontline player. Jack Dollard would take the place of Haggerty in the back. Bianco with the serve to Sam Schwally. Misread there by Wong as he cut in front of Reneker on the Moeller side, and Elder with a 4-1 lead.
So many different people who can attack. Schwally, we'll see David Moeller, we'll see Will Buskin. We've already seen Mounty.
Bianco to serve. Nice receive by Reneker. Bad pass from Markham, but Moeller will get away with it.
That was a great play by Patterson. You're right, because he was going to spike it straight down the chute, and instead it was a tough set for him. He was able to get a tip on it. It ended up working out perfectly.
And here's that rotation substitution you talked about, Skinny. Jack Dollard in when Ben Haggerty was scheduled to move to the back.
And then Haggerty will rotate back in when it's back to the front line for him.
I still expect when Haggerty's in there, Moeller to target him on serve receive. Here is the junior, Jack Dollard, with Moeller trailing 4-2. Schwally overran that ball just a bit. Not going to matter, though, as Ben Markham could not handle one on his side, and Elder quickly takes the serve back.
Yeah, a rare bad set from Joey Bianco, and after that point, he pointed to himself, and I can see him literally mouth, my bad, my bad. You won't see him set many bad ones.
And that set was off by about 4 inches.
Yes, good point.
Bianco setting it up. Back set perfectly to Moeller. Bianco sets it to the back better than anybody at this level, and Gesselbrock's first swing, not there.
Yeah, I can't tell if that was Zimmer or Schwaller, the combination. They were both there.
And now the Ohio Player of the Year, Drew Mowney, to serve. And misses wide to the near side. Will Patterson out, Brody Threm in, Brandon Wong to serve.
It gives us a chance to talk about Brandon Wong. You saw him a point or so ago with a great dive dig. He's been outstanding all tournament long defensively.
You could make the argument he's been the best libero in the tournament. Yep. Harvey took a little off. And out wide, this is Gesselbrock. Deflected, Bianco, where does he go? The back set to David Moeller.
Wong.
Third one, and a reload for Bianco. Back set to Mowney, and he missed it. That was a perfect pass from Bianco, and Mowney just trying to be a little too precise.
Yeah, they're not going to miss many of those. That was a perfect set, as you mentioned. Mowney does love to come from that back line. He doesn't always have to be a front line guy. You're not going to miss many of those.
6-4 in favor of Elder here in set one. Bianco just taps it over with the left.
Yeah, he didn't get inside that went outside the tower.
Rare issue thus far on serve receive from the Panthers. So Moeller now settled in just a bit, and Wong will have a chance to tie. Harvey and Mowney got mixed up as to who was to take that. It eventually works its way to David Moeller off a wonderful pass from Bianco. Laying it so high in the air, it gave Moeller a chance to run underneath.
Yeah, he put that one way up. I think he just put it up not knowing who was going to be there, just hoping somebody would run underneath it. And they did. It was Moeller.
Got that trust. Can put those passes up completely blind and have to believe somebody's going to come get it. Here is Fred Harvey and into the net. He has had serve issues throughout this tournament.
It almost looks like he rushes it.
Rushes and then short arms.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre.
Bad combination for sure.
Absolutely. Tyler Gesselbrock on serve for Moeller. Ooh. Brings the missile. Harvey did a nice job just to fight that one off. Golden opportunity for Moeller. From the back, Gesselbrock blocked beautifully there, but it's out of play. Schwally in great position, but couldn't control it.
Gesselbrock had a few hitting errors this morning, had a couple of service errors, but that time he swung powerfully.
7-all. And well long this time, and that's the area Gesselbrock had issues with in the semifinal against Beaver Creek. Long, often.
Okay, he hurt himself a little bit there too. Bending over right now, putting his hands on his knees, looking at the ground.
David Moeller on serve. Senior try captain goes right to Wong. This is going back over to the Elder side. Schwally with the dump.
That's a tough one. Wong's got to field the serve. He's usually really good at deadening it and at least bumping it to somebody to set. That time got way too much of an easy put away for Schwally.
9-7 in favor of Elder. Moeller coming once again. Long.
Well, you knew this was not going to be easier than the semifinal round, right?
Absolutely. And that's a message that neither coach really has to go over with their players either.
Good call.
Nate Reneker to serve. Bianco to Bluskin, playable. Markham going out wide to Haggerty. That is almost an impossible angle to cut, and he did it to perfection.
Yeah, I think what a smart move by Lee Meyer to take him off that back line and just let him be a hitter. Because he's played really well the last 2 matches doing that.
9-9. Bianco with the dump.
Oh, he's so good at that. It's just absurd.
That's a fadeaway dump.
Yeah. And I mentioned it's not a soft one either. You see a lot of guys do that. It's kind of a soft toss. He's got some force behind that. And he'll occasionally, as we've talked about, he'll jump up and spike it if it's the right time to do it.
And it's interesting because he's a natural right-hander, but almost every time that dump, he goes with the left.
You're right. Little
Moeller takes one back. Brody Threm says, hey, I can play the soft game too. Now with Threm moving to the back, it'll bring Will Patterson to the front and Brandon Wong out.
What's our longest point been? About 3.7 seconds?
That's about that,
quick.
Yeah. Mounting, nice
play.
dig, Reneker. Markham going to Haggerty. Harvey is there. Bianco with the jump set and a rare double called against Joey Bianco.
That's a tough one for him. He had to run a long way to do it, then tried to jump to set it.
And not looking towards his bench. Number one, he doesn't want to deal with his coach, Sean Tierney. Number two, he doesn't want to deal with one of the assistant coaches over there, who happens to be his father. And now Moeller in the lead at 11-10. Mounty, that's deflected up front. Haggerty partially whiffed on the dump. Mounty reloads. Markham to Patterson, mistimed the jump. Harvey nearly collided with Mounty. Patterson to Markham. Haggerty, beauty. Well, you called it, Skinny. A great adjustment today from Lee Meyer to keep Ben Haggerty focused on the front line, and he has made his coach very assured of himself with that decision. 12-10 Moeller.
3 kills, I believe, for him in this first set.
Bianco tried the dump, and there's Haggerty to read it. I think Sean Tierney might be thinking about a rare timeout. Yep, that's exactly what's going to happen. Moeller has come to play here in the championship, and Elder forced to take time in a rare spot, trailing by 3. In the regional final and also in the state quarterfinal, Moeller came out to flying starts against St. Xavier and Olentangy Liberty. Absorbed the early blow here, Skinny, from Elder, and they've responded, and now in the lead by 3.
Yeah, I mean, after watching them this morning, I felt they were really wobbly. But, hey, they're in the championship game with a championship pedigree.
Brody Threm on serve, trying to keep momentum on the gold side. Bianco to Buskin on the roll, and the whistle is blown, and a net violation called up front against Ben Haggerty. And now Buskin, he had a nice service run
he did.
Early in the set.
He's got a great serve to begin with.
Caught some tape, that helped out Wong. Patterson mistimed it, going back over. Did Haggerty touch that? I don't think he did. Point to Moeller. Haggerty somehow avoided net contact. Back to a 3-point lead for the Crusaders. And Ben Markham on serve. Blocked. Elder in a rare scramble.
That was touched. Yep.
And the sophomore with a little wave toward the Elder sideline to boot.
I'll tell you, the Moeller front line is really starting to cause some problems, getting at least a piece of some of these spike attempts.
They are controlling things at the net midway through this opening set. Markham once again, a low flat serve to Harvey. Bianco sets up Zimmer, and it catches the back line.
That was just barely in. And that was a big point for Elder. Just in by the skin of its teeth. And now another good server in Bianco back there. But Moeller has answered almost every call so far.
And Bianco with a service error. And that one out by the skin of its teeth.
Elder was just flawless this morning. You wonder if there's a little frustration here the way Moeller's defended.
I think that's a great point. They've been able to execute at the net with ease thus far here in the tournament. But to this point, not so much. The combination of Patterson and Haggerty have been tremendous. Back set, beautifully done to Mounty on the right.
But still, up there to get a piece of it was Reneker. Just deflected it sideways, but they're doing a great job of challenging everything at the net.
Their lateral movement from Moeller up front has been on point. Mounty now to serve. Sky high. Boy, what a beautiful back set. I think, look like
did he elbow his
Patterson,
elbow?
He elbowed that over.
I think he did.
He did.
I was wondering if I saw the same thing.
Yeah.
How about that?
Kind of flew past the ball and just poked his elbow out for the dump. Bianco scrambles out off the hand of Schwally, and it's a 5-point Moeller lead.
And they got Elder all out of sorts right now because that front line is just causing all kinds of havoc, and Sean Tierney's going to take his second time out.
Moeller by 5 in the opening set of the state championship. Skinny right now, Moeller playing as sharp as we've seen here in Columbus.
Especially defensively. And I get, to your point, I guess overall, because we've seen a bunch of different errors, from service errors to hitting errors throughout this tournament. You haven't seen a whole lot of it in this first set.
Brandon Wong to serve with the Crusaders ahead by 5. Bianco crossed the way to Schwally, missed on his last one, gets this one as Dollard couldn't control it.
Yeah, I think if you're Sean Tierney, you just keep hitting through, and especially with Patterson out.
It's gotten you to the dance here, and a 27-1 record coming in.
Here's Harvey. We talked about he's had some service issues. Can't afford one here.
No problems this time. Cut shot rejected in the middle by Will Buskin.
There's got some guys that can get up and play defense at the net too, and they just proved it.
And I think it's a great point you made too, Skinny, that now is the time for Elder to try and make a run with Will Patterson out.
Yeah, just even if he's still bothered by that shoulder, just the psychological thing of him 6'10" with that long reach, he's an imposing force at the net.
Tap back, Threm with the left hand, Bianco with the save.
Yeah, great play, Bianco.
Schwally, that is touched on the near side by Markham. The fans in purple and white below us were ready to make that call before Mary Black did up on the chair. And now Moeller has called for time at Elder with 3 in a row out of the timeout. You knew the #1 team in the state wasn't going anywhere. Our thanks to everyone tuning in here on OHSBVABroadcast.com for this championship tussle between Elder and Moeller. Your support has been unbelievable for these student athletes, and they have in turn returned the favor with some outstanding volleyball.
Here to that.
Ben Markham with the set. Gesselbrock blocked, spinning, still alive. Gesselbrock tried it again, and I think the side spin of that affected his shot.
Looked like a little frustration from Gesselbrock too. I think he tried to do too much with that the second time around.
He is a young man, just a sophomore, but wears his emotions on his sleeve.
He does.
Elder now with 4 in a row, and Harvey back to serve. He is staring a hole right through Gesselbrock. I would not be surprised if they work to the left here. Wong will take it though. Reneker took something off, nicely timed.
Perfect. Big point for Moeller. Man, that momentum was just all Elders. You could feel the tide turning quickly.
And with this Panthers team, if they sense a roll like that, it becomes an avalanche.
Ooh. How about some muster on that one?
Check your left forearm, Drew Mounty.
And Gesselbrock waved at him after Mounty tried to play that.
He is a fiery young man, Gesselbrock. 20-17 in favor of Moeller. Long this time from the sophomore. And that's the thing in his development into the future. Yeah. He's going to have to clean up.
The consistency level of it. Because it's a bullet. It's hit or miss with it.
David Moeller on serve. His final match in high school. 50-50. Markham keeps it alive. Reneker over the top. And a
net violation.
Yes. I think they got Schwally.
Yep. That's exactly who they got.
21-18 in favor of Moeller. Bruin comes in to replace Maurer. And Ben Haggerty on the front line for Moeller now. Will Patterson remains on the bench for the Crusaders.
Yeah, I think he's one more rotation. Does that sound right?
I think so. He's on the verge. Mounties,
wow.
How did he get anything on that ball?
I have no idea. And I don't blame Moeller for letting it go. I thought for sure that was going to clearly go out.
David Gruen with the hustle in front of his own bench, but Monty was headed momentum-wise towards his own bench too and still got plenty on it. Haggerty, he has been strong here in set one.
Really strong. And it's from that same spot, that outside left spot for him. It's been money.
22-19 in favor of Moeller. Elder does not have a timeout to use to try and sway the momentum. Threm with service. Nice play from Harvey. Up the line, Mountie misses. And Moeller is 2 away from the opening set.
Just when it looked like Elder had the momentum back in its favor and may surge on by, Moeller answers.
Threm once more. Bianco with the left hand spike, got it.
That's what we talk about. He'll turn and dump sometimes, but he'll also turn and spike. And he always seems to time that perfectly. Well, again, Elder's riding a 26-set winning streak.
Buskin, perhaps at the right time on serve for the Panthers. Ben Haggerty cares not. He's been the best player on the floor in this first set.
And you know what? How about him? You know, they're taking him off the back line, obviously, because he had the service return issues yesterday, but he didn't pout about it. He's taken it and said, okay, you know what? I'm going to do my job up front, and he's done it.
4 set points for the Moeller Crusaders. Bianco with the left-hand dump. Haggerty was there to read it. Schwally with a third. Moeller can set up if they can get organized. Patterson just going to shove it. Mountie, beauty.
Nice effort there to go down by Nate Reneker, but you got no chance on that.
Set point number 2. Bianco missed on his last serve. Has to get this one in play. 50-50. No, Wong to Patterson, and Moeller closes out the first set. An impressive first set for the defending state champions. Elder drops just its 11th set of the season. Moeller takes the opener 25-21. And now a message from USA Volleyball. Moeller takes set 1 of this Division I state championship. 25-21, just the 11th set dropped on this season for the Elder Panthers, who came in on a 26-match win streak.
Now, does that just make Elder have more resolve, or does it shake their confidence? We're going to find out. It's got to be a huge confidence boost for the guys in gold.
But keep in mind, Moeller got out to 2-0 leads against St. Xavier and Olentangy Liberty.
I can't figure them out. Can you?
No. And tried their darndest at times to give both of those away. And so I guarantee Elder is aware of that. And will keep that in their minds to say, hey, Moeller tends to start fast. But I'm sure Sean Tierney is telling his team they cannot sustain it in their minds. Sam Schwally to start set 2 for Elder. Brody Threm, perfectly placed in the back corner.
Great set from Ben Markham, too.
Buskin missing wide.
We've seen more hitting errors from Elder probably in the first set and 2 points than we've seen the first 2 matches of the state tournament. The quarterfinal and the semifinal. They didn't have hardly any errors.
You wonder how much seeing the Moeller across from the floor is affecting that.
Oh, not a good set. A rare bad set from Bianco.
Gruen with the hustle. Harvey forward to Schwally, and it'll at least stay alive for Elder. Markham trying to dump. Patterson with the left hand, diving attempt from Schwally. Patterson wins the 50-50 against Bianco. Buskin gets it through Patterson.
Great point. Well, that 50-50, man, they met each other. I thought they were going to trap it up at the top of the net.
Harvey wasn't aware for a moment that he was supposed to be off the court. Cross court, Haggerty, no.
Bianco, I believe, he was there, so was 12 Andrew Zimmer, but I think Bianco's the one that got the piece of it for the block.
2-all here in the second. Buskin with the serve. His serve has been among the best in this tournament, but that is a complete miss.
That was a foul ball. You want to talk about hitting a foul ball? That's about as foul of a ball as you're going to hit for a guy who's been really good at it.
Hey, he kind of walked off shaking his thumb.
Yeah, he mishit that completely.
Schwally trying to push it through Patterson. Patterson takes the pop and buries it.
You know, I will say this for Patterson after we talked about the injury issue with the right shoulder area. I haven't seen him shaking it much so far in this championship match.
Not so far. You have to wonder.
Maybe he got some work on it in between the semi and this that's helped it.
Bianco, just to get to that ball was impressive. Haggerty just has to play it through. Schwally with the dive. Bianco to Zimmer. Beauty.
They haven't had many of those so far.
Patterson's shoulder holding up well now, but you just wonder once fatigue starts to set in as this goes along, and if it goes any extended length, could it become an issue then?
Yeah, if you didn't see the semifinal match.
Oh.
And another error from Bianco on service. Second time he's done that. He was in real pain in that semifinal match.
Bianco not nearly as sharp as we have seen him in the first two games here at the tournament.
Literally been flawless in everything he's done.
Just not quite sharp. Even that pass
there, yeah.
It was low. Wong. Kesselbrock had it tapped. Now Harvey must set up Moeller. Nice dive from Dollard. Moeller gets the block of Reneker.
Let's see how that starts to affect Moeller a little bit, because that's now back-to-back blocks. The one from Bianco before that got on the point, and that one from Moeller. See how that changes the psyche of Moeller's attack.
Drew Mowney, Player of the Year in Ohio, on serve, trying to tie up this set at 5. Into the net. This is not the same Elder team we saw even earlier today in the semifinal, let alone throughout this entire season.
So many errors. They just have not committed. They're really not committed all season. That's why they've only lost once.
Even that right there, Moeller confused on where Bianco was going with the set. Reneker from distance, nice block from Moeller in the front. Zimmer also pressuring.
Well, the last 3 points that Elder's gotten have been off of blocks.
Serving has been the biggest issue, I would say, for Elder to this point.
Harvey's last service time, though, he had a nice run.
Not a good play in the back from Dollard, and that is his specialty. 6-all. Markham with the back set. Gesselbrock blocked by Schwally. It's still alive. Moeller trying to shove it to the back.
Oh, that was going to go out.
Dollard reads it wrong, and Elder in the lead.
And that's a tough one, too, because he really can't glance down to see where he's at. He just got a feel for it. But I think that was going to go out.
A rare time that Moeller's been in scramble mode tonight.
But another block. That's 4 straight attacks that have been blocked.
Harvey to the back line. Dollard continues to have his struggles. Reneker goes long. Elder starting to round into form.
And honestly, it started with their defense.
Oh, double called against Markham. I think we're going to get a Moeller timeout.
Yep.
Lee Meyer taking one, and Elder starting to flex once again. And they've surged ahead here in the second, leading Moeller 9-6. Elder has found itself here now leading 9-6, and really for the first time, Moeller now on its heels of it, and we'll find out how the Crusaders respond to some adversity.
But it really hasn't been through Elder's offensive attack. It's been through some errors by Moeller and Elder's defense.
That'll help.
Yeah, that sure will.
Brody Threm right down the pipe.
I like him a lot, man. And, we talk about Patterson, but when he gets in that middle area as an attacker, he finishes.
And both Threm and Patterson slated to be back next year for Moeller. Both juniors. Gesselbrock misses, this time going short. Serve errors have been a problem all year long for the Moeller Crusaders. Better thus far today, but still, number of times this year they've had double-digit serve errors. Markham has to wait. Renneker go to the back line. Mounty is there. Bianco. Perfect pass to Schwally and just a miss hit on the near side from Sam Schwally.
Yeah, Elder's offensive attack in both sets just has not been crisp at all, and it was just superb for the first two matches.
I got to ask you, Skinny, right now, midway through the second set, where's Drew Mounty on the offense?
Good point.
Buskin could not get it through. Moeller responding out of the timeout, and Renneker to serve to level the set.
Yeah, if you can play this serve, I think you're right. I think I get Mounty involved somehow, some way.
He will not be the target this time of the serve receive. Boy, how did Bianco find that in a spot to Mounty? The reload. This time it's to Buskin. He gets it through Threm.
When Bianco's on, and it's more times than not setting, I mean, he puts it in a spot where his player is swinging through the ball as it's almost coming straight down. He times it perfectly. And so do his guys jumping, too.
Schwally on serve. Elder maintains a small lead. Schwally gets his assignment from his head coach, Sean Tierney.
Haggerty's on that left side.
Threm trying to go up the gut, and a net violation called on Elder against, looked like Buskin.
I think it was Buskin. I think I saw 15 was the signal. And now you got Patterson rotated back in the middle of the front line. It's a good front line with him and Haggerty up there to the right.
Haggerty has really leveled up his game here today. Bianco to Buskin, there's that combo. Mounty to the back line, and Moeller can regather. Haggerty up the sideline. He has been tremendous.
There's a chance for Moeller right here with Haggerty and Patterson on that front line to do some damage. They combine for the block, as you mentioned, Jason, and then Haggerty gets the kill.
Brody Threm also delivering on serve right now. Critical juncture for Elder to get Threm off of serve. Won't happen.
Haggerty, I think it was, wasn't it?
Never got over.
Oh, you're right.
Mary Black signaled 4.
Yep, you're right.
Haggerty and Patterson both had it swallowed up regardless.
Yeah, they were there.
Moeller has responded out of the timeout a few moments ago, and now in the lead at 12-11.
5 of the last 6 points to the Crusaders.
Bianco muscles it through Haggerty.
Yeah, you described it perfectly. He muscled it through. That's the thing. He doesn't do that with finesse. Most guys that do the turn and dump, it feels very finessey, right? He is all power with it.
Buskin to serve. Took something off. Buskin there, but let it go wide. It's the right call as Patterson misses Patterson's been doing that. I saw him do that a few times in the semifinal against Beaver Creek in the middle, trying to cut it out to the outside, and I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I mean, he's got so much power. He's up there so high, just swing straight down. They won't be able to, there's no way they stop it.
Haggerty mishit that. You could hear the thud.
Sound like he hit it with his knuckles.
So now Elder has responded. 3 in a row for the Panthers. And busking into the net. He was about a step and a half behind the line that time when he let it go.
And I honestly think you're right. I think he misjudged it.
He's out now. Harvey back in. Then Markham to serve for Moeller. There is Drew Mounty.
And he went right at the main man in the middle, Patterson. Patterson was there, so was Gesselbrock, and he went right at both of them. Gesselbrock 6'5", Patterson 6'10".
Bianco now to serve. Nearly his third service error of the match. Patterson says you only get one chance.
Why bother with angles when the only angle he needs is straight down?
He got such incredible height, but it's the wingspan that he has,
that's the other part of it.
Yeah, he's a young man that could probably stand and grab a basketball rim at regulation height. Dollard with a low flat serve to Mounty. Bianco with the back set, and there's Drew Mounty up the sideline, but he missed it. Not even close.
No, it wasn't even close. Rare miss, because that side was open too, Jason.
Moeller continues to target Mounty on serve receive. I still think Bianco needs to keep feeding the big man. Instead, it'll be David Mower. Patterson with the block, and it cannot be corralled by Schwally.
Now, the only issue for Moeller is how long can they keep this serve so you're not going to eventually rotate Patterson back out, right? You're only a couple serves away from doing that. Well, there's one of them.
Dollard has not been strong here in this match.
Can I say he's not been money?
No, he has not.
Dollard has not been money.
Thank you.
At least in this one. He's been pretty good in that
That's
role.
the second time he shortchanged the serve.
Well done.
Gesselbrock, well, that's a tough one.
Yep.
How did he get that inside the antenna? I'm asking because I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either, especially that angle. But now Patterson has rotated out, so now somehow they need Wong to keep this serve.
Brody Threm moves forward. Bianco.
Ooh.
Beautiful back set. I've said it before. There is no one that throws up the back set better than Joey Bianco. Maurer gets the kill, and we are tied at 17.
So right now, both Haggerty and Patterson are out, correct, on the rotation?
Yes. So no real chance for Elder, but Harvey, another service error.
Now here comes Gesselbrock, and he has been very hit or miss. His serve is hard to handle if he keeps it in, but he's not kept it in a whole lot.
He is hit or miss because he is all or nothing. 50-50. Elder reloads. Here is Schwally. He has not had much of a match thus far. Threm.
Oh, wow.
What placement for Brody Threm. Everybody had just naturally shuffled forward. He goes to the far corner and plates it perfectly. Timeout, Elder. Moeller finding momentum once again thanks to Brody Threm. The Crusaders looking to extend a 2-point lead. Moeller trying to take momentum back and potentially go up 2-0 in this championship against an Elder team that has lost one time all year. That was to St. Xavier in their second match of the year. The Panthers have won 26 straight since. A missile from Gesselbrock.
Good play by Mounty to keep it alive.
And Buskin sends it through. Markham out wide. Reneker missed it. That one nearly left the gymnasium.
Mounty's still on the back line, but I'm not so sure I don't play it back to him if you get a chance to counter here.
Maurer gets the tape in. Threm makes the wrong decision as Dollard was waiting on it, and I don't know why Threm stuck his arm out.
Yeah, I don't either unless he thought it was really dead, and it actually still had some juice on it, even though it hit the top of the net.
19-19. Moeller launches once more. Gesselbrock from the back, got it through Will Buskin.
He's powerful. You don't always know where it's going, but it's going with power wherever it is.
Just a sophomore, a young man who still has room to grow. Another year or two in the weight room, and well, you think he's powerful now. Reneker on serve after Gesselbrock puts his team in the lead. Bianco, a rare time. The dump does not work.
That was Haggerty who rotated back in that met him at the net.
Haggerty continues to be the best player on the floor.
And that's saying something as much as he struggled yesterday handling serves.
No doubt. Just taking the pressure off of handling things at the back line. Schwally has been quiet. This one will maybe get him going. And Elder will serve for the tie.
And Mounty now rotates to the front line. This is when I think you go back to Mounty. You almost have to.
I'd go to him until he's off the front line at this point.
Yep.
Schwally to serve. They target Haggerty. He handles it. Gesselbrock from the back again. Doug, but going over.
Oh, great attempt by Bianco. Nothing he could do with it. He was trying to keep that back over his head. Had really no angle to do so.
And what that does now, the next time Elder takes serve, Mounty will rotate to right front. And only one more rotation on the front line.
You're right.
Brody Threm on serve. Moeller leading 22-20. Bianco sets it up. Buskin trying to push it through. No chance with Ben Haggerty.
And Patterson. Patterson and Haggerty, when they're both in there at the net, that's what's giving Elder all kinds of trouble. They can't score when they're at the net.
Sean Tierney and his staff in a rare juncture in the season. They are looking for answers. Moeller 2 away from a 2-set lead. Welcome back. Set 2 nearing its close. Fans in Golden Navy on their feet. Conversely, a lot of purple and white sitting on their hands. Stunned as anyone at what they're seeing in this championship thus far.
I wouldn't have believed this with all the inconsistency I've seen from Moeller all weekend and just how great Elder's been, but Moeller's answered the call so far.
Miscommunication, hit a beam, it came straight down, and Moeller has 4 set points for a 2-0 lead in the match. Hands on hips, hands on heads on the Elder bench. And Brody Threm with ball in hand. He's a front court specialist, but his serve has been dynamic in this match. And now he has it to send Moeller to a 3rd set with a 2-0 lead. Bianco over to Mounty, and he missed it. With the way Elder has played, I never thought I would say it is all Moeller. 2 sets down, both of them Crusaders, and now they are 1 set away from a 2nd straight championship over the Elder Panthers. 3rd set about to begin. Moeller has taken the first 2 against Elder. Things looking good for the Crusaders right now, but all is not lost for the Panthers. Moeller led 2 sets to none in the regional final against St. X. Had to go 5 sets. Led 2 sets to none in the quarterfinals against Olentangy Liberty. Had to go to 5 sets. And then in the semifinals earlier today against Beaver Creek, Moeller had to go to 5 sets. So still plenty of time for Elder to come back in this one. But Skinny, above all else, Elder's offense needs to start getting its act together.
Yeah, you need to get back to Mounty, and Mounty's got to finish. I mean, he's had some hitting errors in this match. And
he's had errors. Bianco has not been on his game.
Nope.
And those are the table setters for the Panthers. And as the team goes, they follow the lead of those 2 young men.
2 first-team All-Staters and Mounty the Player of the Year.
And Brody Threm remains on serve here to begin the 3rd set. You almost had to know that was coming from Elder on the first point.
I mean, you know their defensive attack is geared towards him, knowing where he is at all times, but he's your best.
At some point, you just got to say, so what? If you're Elder, you have to believe our best is better than their best. Will Buskin on serve. He's been their best server, and now he misses.
But how many service errors is this for Elder? 7, 8, or 9, something along those lines.
There's been a lot of them. Very uncharacteristic of this team. Push there, not going to happen. And Will Patterson finds space as Elder brought Bradley Lanner into the match for the first time, and Patterson finds the far corner. Waving that shoulder a little bit.
He's shaking looks like more of his forearm, but that's the first time I've seen him react.
Bianco tries with the left hand and got it.
As he was backpedaling, he took a peek to his right to see where can I go with this thing. That was quite clever, as it usually is.
And now Bianco on serve. Nothing will be delicate about this.
But he's struggled with the consistency of it too.
He's had 2 service errors. Wong eats one off the shoulders. Haggerty on the right now and just rolls through the attempt from Zimmer.
You talk about Wong eating it, and he really has. I mean, he's the one that takes the brunt of some of those tough serves, and he makes it look easy. And it's not. I mean, he's got to control that to keep it on his side to try to get an attack.
Jack Dollard in. Bianco back set to Mount. He had to wait on it a bit. Doesn't make a difference.
Well, they have 3 points in this third set. 2 of them on Mountie kills, and the other one on a Bianco kill when he turned and dumped.
Now Mountie on serve. And on the back line now, I don't think anything should change for Elder, but another service error. I don't have the official numbers in front of me, but I would not be shocked. This is already a season high in service errors for Elder.
Absolutely.
Moeller gets it through.
Well, take advantage with Patterson and Garrett and Haggerty both out. I think this is when you're Elder, you're aggressive no matter where you're at with this.
Threm and Gesselbrock surround Markham on the front line for Moeller at the moment. Moeller has made a change. I'll tell you here in just a moment as Redeker gets one. Sam Schwally is now the libero for the Elder Panthers.
Yep, you're right.
Fred Harvey has ditched the libero jersey, and I think just to keep Schwally on the floor as Harvey has struggled not only in serve receive, but in serve as well. Just long from Gesselbrock. 5-5. Schwally has struggled up front, but he's been solid in the back, and so I can understand why Sean Tierney makes a play like this.
Got to change something down 2-0.
And another one.
Service error. That's 3 in this set, right?
Yes. Half of Moeller's points have been gifts. They don't need any more help than they now. Moeller, I mean.
Sean Tierney trying to pump up Mower as he came out.
Bianco to Buskin. I'm just not understanding, Skinny, why so many hitters from Elder are trying to flirt with the sidelines as often as they are.
I would get it if Patterson's there. When Patterson's not there, just go straight through it. Just know who's on the floor.
Haggerty is back in, so maybe that's playing a bit of a factor on that attempt from Buskin, but nevertheless, not a good set there from Bianco, but Wong can't handle.
It's one of the few that Wong hasn't handled this weekend.
Elder down 7-6.
Money defensively.
And Bradley Lanner give a nice spark off the bench for Elder in the semifinal win over Centerville. Wong off the bicep. Gesselbrock. Almost better to try and go for this from the back.
I swear I was literally going to say that just as you said it. He feels like he's a ton better from the back. Almost like he's got more room when he hits.
And now Patterson back in with Moeller leading by 2. Elder has not solved the defensive combo of Will Patterson and Ben Haggerty. That time, neither able to get up for Buskin.
Yeah, they didn't actually get over, I don't think, in time for Buskin either. That was the key to it.
Defensive specialist David Gruen. Good server in his own right.
Oh, great serve there.
Took a little off, and the Little guy showing some muscle.
Saying, I don't need to have power, I just need to have placement.
Such a contrast from what Elder normally likes to have on that back line serving. This one won't get there, though, and so he gives it right back.
It's insane.
9-8 in favor of Moeller.
I think if I'm Elder now, I might go to the old school underhand serve at this stage just to get one across. I'm serious. Just get one in play.
You have to try something because it's becoming an epidemic in the team. Mountie blocked.
Guess who?
It is only a 2-point difference right here in the third, but you just don't feel like Elder is really in this right now because they've just never been organized.
Well, they're giving away points on service, and with Patterson in there, they're going to have a hard time scoring offensively. They almost need a Moeller error to get one here.
Or that.
Well, and guess what? Patterson wasn't able to slide across in time to get Mountie in front of Mountie, and Mountie had a clear lane to hit it down.
You're just wondering when that spark is going to come and that everything is going to click for Elder. Moeller has had a response every time. Patterson just a bit further back, goes soft. Mountie up the sideline. Point to Moeller.
Oh, Mountie thought that somebody tipped it. I don't think they did. Again, he's tried to go up that sideline and just not as accurate as he normally is.
Sean Tierney not happy with the call.
I didn't hear a double click or anything.
I didn't either. 11-9 in favor of Moeller. Sean Tierney not afraid to speak his mind. Remember, he picked up a red card in the championship last year against Moeller. Moeller, there's some frustration on that swing.
That's one of the few good swings they've had so far. Maybe you asked about the spark. Maybe there's the spark. Jot that one down at 11-10 Mower's point.
Patterson sets to the back. Back set to Moeller. 2 in a row from Moeller. And we are tied at 11. And Moeller looking to the near side to get his fans up.
And a bunch of them did get up. A lot of purple down in front of us.
They are just aching for a reason. And maybe David Moeller is that reason. Patterson says no. Beautiful back set from Markham.
But it starts with the service receive, does it not? I mean, that's just beautiful because it allows Markham to just put that thing on a tee for Patterson. And that's Wong again.
Lanter, not there. Reneker through, but playable by Schwally. Bianco with the back set. Moeller rejected, and it stays in play. Nate Reneker with the block.
Nate Reneker's only 6 feet tall. They can put some big guys on that line, as we mentioned, Patterson being the biggest of the bunch, but Reneker got up to get the block.
Moeller and Gesselbrock having a conversation. Gesselbrock will talk to anybody out there. Lanter gets it through. Diving attempt back over from Dollard. Bianco with the second. Wong with a dive. Reneker down. Mountie gets dirty. Lanter cross court and a net violation. And Sean Tierney is incensed.
Yeah, you can't afford the red card here, I will tell you that. How about the defensive effort, though, from Dollard that time first, then Wong second to keep it alive.
Before the play, just before the serve was put in, Sean Tierney calls for time. Moeller finding momentum again, now leading by 3 in the third. Moeller 14, Elder 11 in the third set of this championship match.
Sean Tierney's explosion there was just an absolute ball of frustration with the way this thing has gone. I get it. And you're trying to light a fire under your team with that, too.
And now the Elder fans below us on their feet, trying to get some kind of rally going. Lanter can't get it done here. Markham to Threm with the push, not enough. Take it where you can get it right now if you're the Panthers.
Tell you though, Moeller keeps getting their hands on so many balls at the net. Not everyone, obviously, but they get their hands on a bunch.
More than 50%.
Yeah.
Schwally now to serve. Markham punches it back. Not a good play there from Markham at antenna.
Got to seize this if you're Elder. Here's your momentum chance right here, and it may be your last.
I would not be surprised if Elder gets one more here if Lee Meyer takes a timeout to try and take the crowd out of this. Markham out wide, Reneker. Bianco could not handle one.
That was a bullet.
15-13 Moeller. Wide on the serve from Gesselbrock, whose serve remains all or nothing. David Maurer tried to get things going earlier with a couple of big kills. Now we'll try and place one in on serve. Reneker takes something off. Schwally with a dive.
What a play by Schwally.
Money from the back and got it.
Oh, that was Schwally that made that play.
There you see the change to put the libero jersey on Schwally, paying off.
Yeah, you're right.
And Elder has rebounded to tie it at 15. Dollard is going to have to go over the third after a poor serve receive. Bianco behind Maurer, and Elder is in the lead. No, they overturn it. A push has been called.
Oh, I thought he hit it with a closed fist.
I did too. And so the point goes to Moeller. 16-15 Moeller. Sean Tierney just walking away.
You're right. He did not object much. But I'd have sworn, if you told me an optical illusion of it, I'd have sworn he hit it with a closed fist.
Lanter trying to push it through, unable. Bianco, frustration, swing there, and he missed it.
Yep.
And now another change coming, and Luke Voss is going to come in, and I would never have dreamed of this. Joey Bianco being benched in the third set.
Yeah, probably just let him clear his head for a second. You just hope for that second it doesn't cost you a couple of points, because we're deep into this third set, down 2 sets.
17-15 in favor of Moeller. Mountie, not a great first contact. Trying to punch that over, Wong to a knee. Haggerty, Schwally with a dig. Voss, and it gets called for a double.
Well, there's the substitution, costing you a point.
I think if you get one more in, you've got to put Bianco back in.
Bianco, to his credit, down there cheering his teammates. I'm looking at him.
3-point Moeller lead. Reneker low flat, got it. Schwally let it go. 4-point Moeller lead deep in the third, and Elder will spend potentially the final timeout of its season.
Unbelievable.
The Moeller Crusaders inching towards a sweep in the state championship. Not sure what Lee Meyer's pregame speech was, but he should probably save it and market it. This is the best we've seen Moeller in the postseason, what we're seeing right here. And on the other side, we're trying to figure out who this team is in purple, because this is not the Elder Panther team we've seen throughout the season. And now during the timeout, Joey Bianco back in. And out of it, Reneker puts one into the net. Bradley Lanter seeing extended run here in the third.
Can't give this right back if you're Elder.
He made sure that time.
Yep.
Markham pushes it deep. Lanter with the hustle. Bianco with the left. Wong. Gesselbrock. Bianco over to Mountie. Dug out by Reneker in the back. Here's Haggerty. Cross court. Schwally with a dig. Bianco with the left. Rejected by Haggerty. Wow.
That was a well-played point by Elder, but Haggerty's just been too good in this match.
That's the best point of the match, and even then it goes Moeller's way. Oh,
I said they can't give it right back. They didn't give it right back. Moeller took that point.
and now Brody Threm on serve. Will Patterson back on the front. Mountie not there.
Boy, the backline defense has been great.
Haggerty with the play over. Back set on the slide. Buskin read by Gesselbrock, but no one goes to get it for Moeller. And what you had there, Skinny, was Threm, Haggerty, and Patterson on that side. And they're not accustomed to playing that ball.
Good point.
Log jam on that front left, and now David Gruen to serve for Elder. Bit behind him, but still able to get it over. Patterson, long, did not catch that clean.
Great decision, and it was a quick decision that Lanner had to make whether or not to play that ball or not. At this stage of the game, you almost need to play everything, so he took the risk, and it worked out perfectly.
Elder trying to cut the deficit to 1.
Ooh, another tough toss.
Markham with the back set. Patterson misses again, and again he tries to go wide.
Well, I guess because he failed going down the middle on that last one, he decided he needed to go to an angle.
He's overthinking.
I agree.
Gruen to tie. Going away to Haggerty. Somehow, Gruen kept that off the floor. Haggerty can't get it there, and the confusion on the back line threw that off, and Moeller has pulled level, and Lee Meyer will take a timeout. Elder was never going to go down without a fight, and they've drawn level late in the third. David Gruen, serve specialist, has led the charge for Elder to tie the third set at 20 and forcing Moeller into a timeout at a time when it felt like Moeller was on the brink.
Now they were on the brink. Still are to some degree. Got to win this set to get to the fourth.
Not many folks right now in a seated position, particularly on the Elder side just below us. Patterson blocked by Mountie. Still alive. Haggerty, no. Mountie again through the wall this time, and Elder in the lead.
You know, I joked about the old underhand serve, just get it across. I'll be honest with you, that's all Gruen's doing. He's just lobbing it across and saying, let's play from there.
Four in a row for Elder. 50-50, somehow stayed alive. And that's going to be...
I think a net on Moeller.
They're going to call it on Elder.
Oh, really?
I think they got Bianco, because his teammates are trying to calm him down.
You're right.
Well, what a critical mistake there, potentially for Bianco. He has been frustrated from the get-go, not playing up to his standards. Now it's on Moeller to try and seize the momentum off of it. Playable. Markham goes to Haggerty, took something off. Schwally to Bianco. In the middle, Zimmer is blocked. Bianco resets to the far side. Mountie, and he got it.
Great play by Mountie.
Elder 22, Moeller 21 as David Maurer returns to the front line. Fred Harvey heads out.
Bianco needs a deep breath here. Just get one in.
Oh my goodness. You could not ask for a better serve at a better time from Bianco. And from my eyes, Skinny, that's the best serve of the tournament thus far, and it'll force Moeller into a timeout. Elder trying to respond. An extended season. They lead 23-21 in the third. 7-1 run for the Elder Panthers to pull 2 sets away, or 2 points away, I should say, from sending us to a 4th set. Joey Bianco just had the serve of his life before the Moeller timeout. Both teams out of timeouts.
That's got to be a confidence boost after having all kinds of frustration for almost 3 full sets.
Wong, nice play. Swinging is Gesselbrock. Bianco back set to Maurer.
Boy, Bianco is juiced.
3 set points.
And now look
for
at the
Elder
Moeller
Panthers.
side. They're looking around with some bewilderment. Like we had this, and now we almost don't have this.
It's been a familiar refrain in the tournament for Moeller. Bianco a little too juiced up, goes long. Still though, 2 more set points to work with for the Panthers. Jack Dollard will come in to serve for Moeller.
It was really Gruen serving that got the job done, just putting it in play.
Set point number 2 for Elder. Low and flat, and it caught the line. Oh, I don't know about that one. I thought Elder was right on that one, and I thought that went long.
The line calls have been so good this whole tournament long, though. I'm going to give benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I have to. Set point number 3 for Elder. Doesn't matter. Elder survives to live another set. We will need at least 4 to determine a champion in Division I as Elder gets set 3, 25-23. Moeller has been in this position twice before in the postseason, winning the first 2 sets, dropping the third. But Skinny, the 4th set in those situations has been the biggest problem for the Crusaders.
Yeah, against St. X in the regional final, they lost 25-16. Obviously, eventually did win in 5 sets. And then against Liberty in the quarterfinals, they lost that 4th set 25-9 before coming back to win the 5th set 19-17 to advance to the semis. The Beaver Creek match went back and forth in terms of sets. But yeah, when they've been out to 2-0 leads and lost set 3, it's been a disaster for them in set 4.
And now you've got the number 1 team on the other side, brimming with confidence that they were able to get that 3rd set. And Elder has been as good as any at carrying momentum from one set to the next. And I especially wonder if Elder gets off to a good start here, maybe an early 3 or 4 point lead, if that thought from Moeller of here we go again starts to creep in.
But to Moeller's credit, when that's happened, right, they've gone ahead and won the 5th set when it comes to it. So
yeah. So you can think about that, but also know, hey, we've been here before, we've done it, we've won twice before in that scenario. You're right.
I'm not sure I want to flirt with danger a 3rd time.
Not with this team across from them.
I mean, you were 5 points away from a state championship, up 20-16 there in the 3rd. That's got to affect your psyche a little bit. Again, Elder had only lost 10 sets all season. The only time they'd gone to 5 sets this year was the opener against St. Xavier when they lost 3-2, actually in their 2nd match of the season, won 26 straight since. So they haven't had hardly any 4-set encounters, let alone 5-set encounters.
Trying to make sure that everybody's correct in their rotation for Elder. As Schwally, the libero, takes the place of Andrew Zimmer on the floor.
And what a key switch that was.
Yeah, because Elder was not getting much from Fred Harvey at the libero spot. And Schwally on his side, when he didn't have the libero jersey on, was struggling up front.
Yep.
So the move to keep him in the back has really given Elder a boost. And now Bradley Lanner to serve in the 4th.
How many service errors have they had into the net? And Lady Luck shines on them with one that goes into the top of the net and flips across.
You can't blame Moeller for freezing in that scenario. This time, right back.
I think I'd let Gruen serve. Just get it across, man. Now that rotates Patterson back in as well for the first service for Moeller here in set 4.
Brody Threm has been strong on serve throughout the match. Nice play off the side. Still a chase for Bianco. Lanter regathers, deflected by Patterson. Patterson right at Schwally.
We talked in, I think, the quarterfinal match you did with Greg Waddell. I was off mic, but I was surprised they didn't go to Patterson more on that stuff. And with him looking like he's feeling good, I think I'd go back to him a few more times as long as he's in that front line.
I would do it early here in the set, too, just to send a message. But Lanner cannot handle the serve from Threm.
You mentioned about how strong he's been on serve. He's made it tough to return it no matter what.
And right now, Threm just needs to keep eyeing 10 in purple. Lanner has not looked comfortable here in these first 2 receives. Better
Good job there. Yep, much better.
Buskin on the slide, blocked up front. The combo of Patterson and Haggerty again.
They are the block firm up front, man.
Schwally absorbs it. Mounty blocked. Schwally keeps it alive, and Bianco regathers to
almost
Lanter.
had a carry there.
He rides that line. Patterson makes it 5 out of 6 for Moeller to start the set.
I'll tell you, that right arm looks good. I mean, he's hardly flexed it at all. And that was a good, powerful hit right there from Patterson.
Fred Harvey comes in for David Gruen, a substitution in the middle of a serve.
Yeah, they're going to put him in that spot where
they're going to try and hide Lanter.
Yep, he's behind Harvey at the moment.
Schwally absorbs. Bianco out to Mounty, and I think a double call on Bianco. He froze just a moment before contact. 6-1 Moeller.
Well, if you worry about him getting off to a slow start in this fourth set, that's gone by the wayside. Well, that's due to Threm serving. Perfect time for him to be serving for them.
Schwally with a dive. This is going over, and Moeller will load up. Haggerty.
Great block.
Gesselbrock. Too long. He was too close.
He was. I think he's far better from the back for whatever reason. At least he has been in this match. He just got so much power.
Now, Rudy Hoffmeyer in for the first time in the match to serve. I don't think we've seen him at all in this tournament.
Well, I think Sean Tierney's just looking for answers for guys to put a serve in play.
Going at Haggerty. Patterson blocked, but out. Mounty got a good contact, but couldn't control it.
I mean, that wasn't a powerful serve by Hoffmeyer, but he got it in play, and I think that's all he's looking for right now, is just get something in play for me.
Well, and challenging the one guy you want to go after if you're Elder, and Ben Haggerty, who has struggled with serve receive this entire tournament. Bianco over to Mounty, can't find a way through. Wong loads it for Haggerty. Wow.
His hitting percentage in this championship match is off the charts. He hadn't missed much.
I'm still sticking by my vote at this point that he's been the most outstanding player in this match.
Patterson's not too far behind with what he's done, too.
No, he's not. Neither is Brandon Wong, the libero. And also Brody Threm on serve, but he's out right now. Lanter from the back got the tape. Patterson with the pass. Through. And Will Patterson will get an assist to Ben Haggerty.
I'd have to look at the stat sheet. I'm going to guess he has less than 5 on the year, if I'm just a guessing man. And that's not a knock. It's not his role.
No, not at all. Timeout, Elder, as Moeller has stormed out to a 9-2 lead here in the fourth set of this Division I title match. Moeller 9, Elder 2, and we were talking about the now assist man, Will Patterson, Skinny.
It's his first of the year. It's not his role, but I'll tell you what, that set was pretty good.
It was a good one. Right in position to Haggerty, the first assist of the year for Will Patterson. Bianco to Lanter, who's been seeing a lot of action. Patterson swats it back with the left. Zimmer on the slide, not there, and Bianco fires the ball behind his back in frustration.
You want to know where Patterson's length really helped? He jumped to block. They tried to tip it over, and he's just so long, he just literally reached back up and tipped it back across.
I think Bianco may be getting a warning from the down ref for sending that ball backwards the way he did.
It's frustration.
10-2 in favor of Moeller. Mounty punches one over, nicely done.
Well, they decided they can't go through those guys when Haggerty and Patterson are out there. Now if you're Elder, you got to find a way to get them rotated off.
And Bianco on serve, and I feel sorry for the volleyball right now.
Yeah, this is going to get punished.
Just enough of the net to make it playable for Moeller. Wong has to go through with the third. Free ball for Elder. Back set. Maurer coming with everything.
Yeah, that right side attack seems to be far better to force Patterson and Haggerty to move late.
Bianco perfectly placed.
You couldn't have run across the line, run to that spot, drop the volleyball there, and any better.
3 in a row for Elder.
Not sure what Sean Tierney was talking to the down ref about there. Oh, Wong.
Patterson.
Oh, Schwally with a great play. Oh,
indecision.
Miscommunication.
I think that's one right there. Bianco needs to let Lanner take.
Yep, I'm with you. He's saying it was mine.
Yeah, Lanner was in position, and Bianco just ran in front of him.
But how about Wong, though, handling that to begin with? And then Schwally with a great defensive play.
11-5 in favor of Moeller. Moeller. Patterson able to keep it alive. Bianco reloads for Moeller. This time to the back line. Dollar can't get there. Moeller has tried to be that spark, but Elder has just not been able to sustain.
And now Mountie to serve.
Elder down 5. Was down 10-2. This is going to be a 50-50 ball, and right there is Lanner.
Good play. Good serve by Mountie.
5 out of 6 now to the Panthers. Good grab down low. Patterson. That ball was behind his head. He somehow got that shoulder back to spike it down.
All right, so now if you're Elder, you got Patterson rotated out. If you can win this serve back, you got a chance to get on a run, but you got to win the serve back first.
Threm comes in up front. This ball's going back over. Threm will just retool it. Pass a little wide, and the block from Lanner is out. 13-7 in favor of Moeller. Bianco trying to go up the pipe to Zimmer and gets it done.
Well, you can do that when Patterson's not in. I mean, you're higher than they are. You're not higher than Patterson.
Well, most teams like to stay out wide. I think maybe go back to it a second time. Reneker. Did that hit the antenna?
I think
yes.
It did. Yep, I think it did.
Seven of the last 10 to Elder. Reneker took something off, dive by Bianco, and it caught the line.
Oh my goodness. That was a tough read. I'm not so sure that didn't backspin its way back onto the floor, to be honest with you. Two players there, I think they read it just right. It just got the right backspin at the right time.
Elder's cut an 8-point deficit down to 3. Markham has to hustle to set it up for Reneker. Schwally in perfect spot. Bianco behind to Mountie, who had to scramble around Bianco.
Yeah, that was not a clean hit. And able to get the block there were Threm and Nate Reneker.
Normally Bianco will set that ball behind and then get out of the way. He just stood still.
Here comes the all or nothing.
Tyler Gesselbrock. Nothing.
Thought for a second it was going to be an all. That looked like an ace.
14-11. Elder on serve, trailing, and David Moeller to play it in. This is his high school swan song. Playable by Reneker. Markham going to go to Gesselbrock. Schwally, nice. Bianco, good back set. Montie's going to bump it over. Never made it over.
Never made it over. I know Sean Tierney's upset. That never made it over.
No, it didn't. Tierney has been frustrated from the get-go, but this officiating crew, all of them have been at their tip-top performance level throughout this tournament.
Yeah, that just simply put, it never made it over. I know you may think that the Moeller player hit it, but they didn't.
They got it. The officiating crew got it right. Long on the serve. So trading points the teams are right now, and that's bad news for Elder midway through this fourth set. Lanter has had an extended run.
He has.
Today. It'll be an ace for Lanter.
Well, he had an ace on his last service around and then hit one in the net. See if he can be a little more consistent here.
Lee Meyer to Stoic. Markham out to Haggerty. He has had the answer every time in this match.
Been spectacular. And now Patterson gets to rotate back in, so now you got both he and Haggerty out there.
And you have Brody Threm on serve.
Yeah,
this is the combination. This has been their best lineup today. Double on Bianco.
Almost like he's trying to do a little too much with it on spots where you really can't get a good clean set. Although we watched him the first couple of matches. I know you watched him obviously in the regional. He's spectacular at doing it. He's just having an off match.
17-13 in favor of the Crusaders. Schwally up to Bianco, the back set on Buskin on the slide. Nicely done. That's been one of Bianco's better contacts here as of late.
I'm not so sure you don't need to slide a little bit more. That way you can keep away from Patterson and Haggerty. Get them in a spot where they're setting up and somebody slides to the right and slides away from them.
Hoffmeyer into serve.
Oh, wow.
Not even close.
And he was in there just to get one in.
Tell you, when Sean Tierney goes back and looks at the numbers and watches the tape on this, the service errors are going to keep him up for days.
Honestly, the best service was Gruen. I get him back into serve.
Yeah. Mounty had to wait just a bit long. Right in the middle of the chest. Haggerty got it. That's all Brandon Wong. Ben Markham put it up on a tee for Ben Haggerty, but that doesn't happen if Brandon Wong doesn't sacrifice himself.
That's exactly right. He does that a ton.
19-14 in favor of Moeller.
Ooh, tough one here.
Going to the net and blocked by Patterson, still playable. Mounty reloads up the sideline. I don't know if he's connected once on those. He'll get the benefit of the doubt here as it was touched.
Yeah, it was touched by Moeller. Because that wasn't very clean either. Now Bianco needs to take a deep breath right here. You can't afford a service error.
He needs to go on a run.
Yep. And he just had one.
Didn't lead himself into that back line. Really a rather vertical toss.
It has been struggle street for the first team All-Stater.
Second straight set. Moeller is 5 points away from the title.
Yep. Does Elder have them just where they want them?
Mounty blocked, and it is in. 4 away from the title. Elder has 1 timeout remaining. Won't use it here.
No, 1 more point you sure will.
Dollard, flat serve to Schwally. Maurer trying with the bump that time.
Patterson got a piece again.
Gesselbrock got all of it, but missed it wide. (21-16) in favor of Moeller. If Moeller wins this set, they win the title. Patterson in the middle, and Schwally in self-preservation mode, and you can't blame him.
That's a good way to go off on your rotation, right? Finish it off with a major spike. Get your serve back.
And if he has any say about it, it'll be his last rotation.
You're right. That's exactly right.
Brandon Wong. Zimmer is blocked. Maurer from the back is blocked.
How good have they been at the net defensively?
Reneker through. You said it, Skinny. It's been the frontline defense the difference in that point and in the match. Timeout, Elder. Moeller is 2 points away from the upset and its 10th state championship. Moeller fans across the way getting a closer taste of the title. Still have to close it out, does the team on the floor, but they're only 2 points away as Moeller leads 23-16 and trying to win the title for the second straight year over Elder by a 3-1 final. Lanter gets through Threm.
Clutch swing right there from Lanter. Schwally's got to go on the run of his life right here.
This is it for him. He is one of a number of seniors on this roster. Reneker blocked and out, and now the Moeller Crusaders have 7 championship points.
And you got the all-or-nothing man serving.
Well, you know what's coming from his right arm.
It's heat. The heat's a-coming.
Tyler Gesselbrock, the sophomore, with ball in hand to serve for the championship. Schwally out wide. Bianco has to hustle. Just got to get it over now. Markham. Reneker. Down, and that's it! The Moeller Crusaders have won their 10th state championship, taking Elder down in 4 sets for the second year in a row in the same gymnasium, winning 25-17 in the fourth. Skinny, this was an unbelievable performance from the Moeller Crusaders.
It really was, because, I mean, their 2 wins, the quarterfinal win and the semifinal win, there were a ton of shaky moments from them. In fact, a bunch of moments from them where they weren't even looking like they were going to advance. Here they advanced, and they were dominant.
You could make the argument Moeller shouldn't have gotten out of the region, shouldn't have won the quarterfinal, shouldn't have won in the semifinal. But when it counted the most against their arch rival, the Moeller Crusaders deliver. Conversely, Elder picked the worst time for its poorest performance of the season. Elder's season ends at 27-2, and they cannot claim a state title as Moeller is just the better team here today. What a performance, what a tournament here in Columbus. What a great job by the OHS BBA to put this tournament on. Everyone involved. Matt Mihalik, Anitra Brockman, Sean Tierney, Tina Gustally, Vicky Phillips, and all the folks that make this possible. We're just the benefactors to bring you this great action. That's going to wrap up our coverage of the 2022 OHS BBA State Tournament. For the second year in a row, Moeller has won it. For our entire ESP Media crew and Richard Skinner, my name is Jason Griever. Thank you so much for joining us on OHSBBABroadcast.com. Moeller has won its 10th state title.